Portugal. There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings a bell and the members show to the GMP Morning Show.
Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast.
Friday, it's a Friday feeling. I'm a feeling Friday.
Woo-hoo!
Woo!
Thank you, Phil. Excellent. Sexta-feira. Doing my best here to put the sex into sexta-feira. Lucky, actually, to be here this morning. My alarm didn't go off. I'm sure I set it. Great evening last night, talking to Isabel Stillwell about Philippa of Lancaster. Great webinar. And we'll have Astrid along from Expats Portugal to talk a little bit more about what went on last night. And I'm going to ask her for more programming of that kind. It was really good. Talking about the Portuguese royal family, in particular Philippa of Lancaster, the English princess who came over and changed the course of Portuguese history, and a great town hall as well. Well, last night, wow, I have this vacancy here, don't I, for well-being experts to come and help us. I've got a good one this morning, by the way, and Coach Turner is joining us at 8:20 live from Coimbra. But it's funny, a sense of zen came over both Gilda and Nuno last night on the Expats Portugal town hall. First of all, Gilda was like, yeah, I'm great. Everything's fine. I'm just getting old. Nothing bothers me anymore. It's like, what? Well, compare and contrast. And then I was asking them what their favorite getaway was. Heard from Sarah, who's just back from Seville. Sarah Davey enjoyed popping over to Seville. Great to be back home, though, here in Portugal. Gilda had some great ideas for popping across to Spain and Paris. And then Nuno said, my favorite journey is within. So what's going on at the moment? I'm looking forward to maybe a holistic retreat, courtesy of Expats Portugal, where Gilda and Nuno will be teaching us how to meditate and be mindful. Excellent stuff. And talking more then about Expats Portugal with Astrid at 8:40 this morning. Good morning to you, Jackie. Oh, look at the little vaginos there, which are kisses, by the way. Let's have a quick look at your vaginos. Oh dear. Bom dia, Gumpers. Bom dia, Carl, says Jackie. Boa tarde a todos. Oh, I see. It's afternoon where Pete is. Bom dia a todos e feliz sexta. Talk to you in a little while, Ian. Looking for, because we need to do the news this morning. I'm weaving it. I was thinking, why don't we ever do international news that might be of interest to the Compass? I think you won't be able to stay silent on the article that I'll share with you, or the news item that I'll share with you this morning, as well as the Portuguese one, of course. And a great video, a couple of great videos. Looking forward to being on the show shortly. Don't call me Shortly or Shirley, from the beautiful town of Coimbra. Hopefully the outdoor location will work. Wow, you're spoiling us, Mr. Ambassador. Bon dia from Pam as well. How you doing, Pam? I think I might pop over to Alkibi later on today. I'm going to pop out for the day. I think Alcabasa might be nice, mightn't it, today? How are you, Jackie? Just had a lovely afternoon tea overlooking the beach here. He's not saying where he is, though, is he? I will send you a big kiss anytime. Oh, thank you very much. Beijinhos, abrazos, to you, Jackie. Right, let's get straight then into this first news item. And you may have seen that the Bond franchise, is that what it's called when a film has been going for many years, and it has a kind of life of its own. And the BBC are asking here, what will Amazon do with James Bond? Now, they've interestingly chosen Time to Die as maybe their comment. Is it the gold finger of Amazon? See what I did there? The closing credits of 2021's No Time to Die, the most recent film in the 007 series. Maybe that was a message from the Broccolis. Ended with a familiar message: James Bond will return. James Bond will return. Or James Bond will return. But for the last few years, fans haven't been so sure. A year after the release of Daniel Craig's final film in the franchise, there you go, Amazon bought the series' parent company, MGM. Since then, very little has happened. That finally changed on Thursday when Amazon announced a new deal that would see long-term Bond producers Barbara Broccoli, what a fantastic name, Cubby's daughter, I think, and Cubby and Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson step back, and Jeff Bezos' company take full creative control. In the intervening years, it's been widely reported that there was tension between Amazon, who understandably wanted a return on their investment, and Wilson and Broccoli, whose top priority remained protecting the Bond brand. The news of the deal has been met with mixed reaction from 007 fans. Are you a 007 fan? Who do you think should be in that role? I can hear Doug Hughes muttering about this already. Rah! They're going to make it a black woman, aren't they? In the new Bond role, if it's left to Amazon. I'm thinking we have a spectrum of opinion, don't we? I guess you could think at one end, figuratively speaking, you've got Douglas Hughes and his worldview, and maybe Rebel Mama at the other end. Who do you think they would want in the James Bond role? Maybe Douglas Hughes would make a good Bond himself. And I think Rebel Mama would be fantastic. I wouldn't put her in the lead role, but I think she'd be a fantastic character in James Bond movies. Morning to you, Rebel Mama. Yes, please pass on my best regards. I think Coach Tony, you'll be seeing her soon. So what do you think? Who should be the next James Bond, or should they just let it? Should just let it go? Is it time to die? Is it best to just leave it as legendary or in legendary status rather than messing about with it too much? I think even the most open-minded, wokey liberal types might even be saying, just leave it. Just leave it. We've got enough problems at the moment. We are in Da Nang. So that's a bit different from being in denial. I think you've been in Egypt previously, haven't you, in denial? But now you're in Da Nang, which I believe is a place rather than a kind of state of mind, although it does sound like it. That sounds fab. Was it a chilled one? We know what she means. There's only two Bonds. You'll never get another Sean Connery or Roger, what's his name? Blimey. Roger, who doesn't like to Roger Moore? Green tea, little mocha. Oh, very nice. Mocha cakes, passion fruit panna cotta. Oh, and little ham sandwiches. Off to the 28th floor for a swim. I don't think I'd want to be swimming behind you after that medley. And I'm not talking about a swimming medley. I'm talking about your dietary choices there. Could be explosive in the pool. Might be an impromptu jacuzzi there, Peter Bleach. Anyway, I hope you're having a great time. Thank you for popping in. Very good of you. How about a picture? Come on, send us a picture. Right, that's the James Bond business right there. What will Amazon do with James Bond is the BBC's question. Let's go to our Portuguese news story then this morning. And this is I'm saying buy, B-U-Y, not B-Y-E. Don't say goodbye to Portuguese products. Make sure you invest in the Portuguese companies who I think are getting together to remind us that we've got so many wonderful things in this country that can be bought here without having to buy the flood of cheap imports, the economic invasion, if I may use emotive language this morning. Right, please value what is ours is the headline. Portugal, on the all-new Portugal resident website here, which I really like. I do like this. Well, so many companies and platforms are offering dark mode at the moment. Here we are in a beautiful, light and bright scenario here. Portugal's businesses think outside the box. Then this was published yesterday by the resident, and it's reporting from, where have they put the byline now on these? Oh, that's moved. I can't see that. Maybe you can. I can't at the moment. Portugal's entrepreneurs appeal to citizens to value our brands. Portugal's entrepreneurs have sent out an appeal to the government and all Portuguese people. All Portuguese people, if we can have your attention for just a moment, please. Please value what is ours. It's an appeal that also targets the European Union. The EU are in the crosshairs. The EU and the EC, no less. The Commission, hoping to persuade Brussels to look at rules and regulations with a new eye. That sounds like a Bond movie. That the bloc is suddenly assailed from all sides. Oh, now that the bloc is suddenly assailed from all sides in this talk of tariffs, I guess. National businesses have always been threatened by cheap imports. Let's tariff them from territories free of Europe's myriad controls. That's interesting, isn't it? But the latest developments, so yes, free movement of other people's goods from outside the bloc as well, it would appear. But the latest developments from the other side of the Atlantic, can't even say it anymore, have prompted the call to truly ring in some changes. At least that is the message coming from one of the world's largest trade fairs for household goods recently held in Frankfurt. Espresso traveled to the Ambient Fair. I'll go, said the journalist. Sounds like fun. Weekend in Frankfurt as the guest of Leiria Business Association, NERLEI. Nearly Donald Trump may be waging a trade war. Germany may be in crisis, but producers in Portugal are still very much in business and thinking on their feet, if not outside the box. Our eyes have a serious tendency to look more at what isn't ours. It's essential to change this so that we can value what we do, produce more wealth, and thus have a bigger cake to distribute to everyone. I think that's a great idea. Rui Pereira of Atam, a metal kitchenware factory in Baguium de Mont, Gondomar, tells the paper. It's a mindset echoed by many of the other exhibitors at the event, most of whom have been in business through thick and thin and understand the importance of strategies. Well said. Very good. Ana Luisa Roque, CEO of Porcela Porcelain Company in Oliveira de Bairro, not far from where Andy used to be, right? With 110 workers and sales of 4.5 million a year, 97% of which are abroad, told Expresso, here's a familiar thing, we need less bureaucracy. It is essential that the European Commission's demands don't weigh down our industry because that distorts competition. So there you go. Very nicely done. With obligatory Barcelos cockerel. If you're up against the deadline and you're writing a Portuguese article, slam one of those in if you can't find a picture. And there's loads more there. You might want to see that for yourself. I'm trying to find out who wrote that. So where do we find out these days who wrote the article there? I'm not sure. Can't see. I suspect it might be Natasha Don writing that there. But great. Yes, buy Portuguese. We should do that. And on that note, I see that I can see a coach out and about. So, yes, I think that's going to work, your outdoor location there, with a scarf on. So I must do the weather later on. A little bit chilly in Coimbra by the look of it. Okay, so talking of cheap imports, we have something here. Oh, morning to you, Mike, as well. How you doing, Mike and Karen in Miranda? And Diane just had a dress handmade. Why don't you get one too as well, Pete? In an hour for less than 15 euros. You could probably get measured before you get into the pool, and you can have it ready for you to step into as you get out of the pool, just like James Bond, Pete. Can see you now swimming along there. Dang, 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 dang. Right. Where was I going with all of that? I know, talking of cheap imports, a chap called Nicholas who reached out to me. I think I might be meeting for a coffee today as well. He's in the country. And just like most of us, I think, when we arrive here, fascinated by the phenomenon of the Chinese shop, the chingados, as I call it.
I mean, one of these kind of crazy Chinese shops that you get a lot in Portugal that just stock absolutely everything. This is a huge, it's like you're inside the Amazon warehouse. At least that's how it is. This is the pet section. This is just a little town somewhere, nowhere really. I just love these shops. It just goes on and on. It's like a dream or something for me. Look, this is the art section. Gardening, in case you need a rake. Bird food. Just goes on and on. That's very useful, probably. Some fish things to put in the fish tank. Brilliant. Or perhaps you need a torch. Or perhaps you need a light bulb. Or perhaps you need some material or a tiny light bulb. So for this brilliant shop I've just been in, sold everything, I got really good winnings. This Bluetooth headphones so I can make calls in the car, well done, 17 euros. This charger for my phone, well done, 3 euros. Some cheese, can't remember, 2 euros, brilliant. Healthy fruits, well done, 1 euro. And a winning #1 medal, I think it was 1 euro. I treated myself because I think it's easier. I feel like I deserve it, and it's easier to just buy one than win it. It's fine, it's fine.
There you go, Coach. We'll talk to Coach about that on buying medals instead of winning them. I mean, when they're €1, euro. Thanks, Nicholas. Perhaps bump into you later for a coffee in San Martino de Porto. But yes, do you remember the first time you went into a Chinese shop and had the same sort of experience as Nicholas there? And what did you buy? And more importantly, is it still working? I doubt it. It's not. You don't go there for quality and longevity of products. It's all right for a quick fix, isn't it? Roll of gaffer tape, maybe, and a gold medal. But I wonder how long that's going to last there. Right, let's have a look at that weather, because Coach is looking a bit chilly, and find out what's going on over on our weather page. Let me bring that onto the screen and see what the weather's looking like for this weekend, and if it's going to be a bon fin de semana weather-wise this weekend. Right, we'll get an on-the-spot report from Coach as well in Coimbra in just a moment. So let's go to the Astrid of Expats weather and see what's happening. Oh, okay, so not a lot. I can just say cloud with a very okay. Oh, actually, Sunday's looking good in various parts of the country for full sun, if not flashes of sunshine. Now, I've got to say, it was a sunny day in part. Maybe when there's a sun icon here, that means like a largely sunny day, the sort I love. And well, not too hot. No, not too hot. But Sunday's looking like a good day for a rise in temperatures and a little bit of sunshine and cloud, a combo, a mixture. And 16 degrees the high in Lisbon then on Sunday. Currently 14 with broken clouds. Porto, cloudy this weekend. It's currently 15. It's mild, isn't it? Bit of light rain, however, in Porto. We need it. Before anyone else says it, I'll say it. Coimbra, 15 degrees overcast with clouds. Let's find out if that's actually true in just a moment. Sunday, a little bit of sunshine as well there. Coach Taylor may well have moved on to another part of Portugal by then. In the south, Faro, 15 at the moment with broken clouds and a little bit of sun on Sunday. 16 degrees the high then. Braga is 13 at the moment, overcast with clouds. 16 degrees on Sunday. Cloudy, however. And the sunspots are going to be Bragança on Sunday, Beja on Sunday too. A lovely video from Neil. I must get to the Alentejo again soon. Beautiful video I saw online from our friend Neil. Used to see a lot more of Neil back in the day with the Wine Ninjas, but a beautiful video of his. And I just thought to myself, do you see parts, pictures and videos of Portugal? I must get back over there. Alentejo for sure. Evra, Sunday will be sunny, 16 degrees there. Currently 8 though at the moment. And you're going to have a bit of sunshine here in Leiria. Fantastic. So looking forward to that. We're out in the garden yesterday, actually. It was mild enough and lovely enough to be in the garden. Do a bit of tidying up yesterday. I think that shallot, that's your little onion, as it were, for sunny weather. Let's just go to the autonomous regions. Açores is going to be, well, it's going to be a cloudy weekend. Same with Madeira. But in the Azores at the moment, 15 degrees. I don't know how you get an average there with so many islands. But anyway, on Madeira, 5 degrees, a mere 5 degrees with scattered clouds, rising, however, to 16 degrees today. So there you go. That's your weather here on Good Morning Portugal. Spring is slowly overcoming winter. It just does feel like that, doesn't it? Another month or so, we'll be in it. And João Ernesto de Norte, Bom Dia Portugal. Yes, fantastic to see you, John, as well. And the earlier message from James. It's Friday. Expect another video from the old guy in Europe. We've got a digital creators group now. If you want to make videos and you want to help others do the same and help with motivation. I mean, that's the main thing, I think, when it comes to having your own YouTube channel or a podcast, is doing it and getting on with it and keeping on doing it. Rinse and repeat. And if you want a bit of help, then how about, oh yeah, sorry about that. The video was a little bit dizzy making, wasn't it? Yeah, if you want to join our digital creators group, just drop me a line, 913-590-303. Dan's here this morning as well. A visit to the Chinese shop. That's where the French Olympic organisers got Paris got their medals in there. That's an amazing bargain. You're €15. I hope you gave them a tip, Pete. Solar Life, that's an amazing bargain. Bet she's thinking about a second one already. Yes, good plan. I can't buy the fabric to knock up a dress for €15, says Jackie, unless I use second-hand curtains. Wow, yes, and you can really blend in at a party then, can't you? But not with the people, but with the decor. It was lovely and warm in Nazaré yesterday. That's great to hear. And Bob and Viv, you'll see them on. Oh, James and Bob and Viv, can I organise something with you now? There's a little diary change for Bob and Viv. So James, can we get you on at 8:40 and have Bob and Viv on at 8:20? Is that going to be okay with you? Bom dia todos, windy with rain coming in here today up there in Ponte Lima. What? I didn't see this weather warning. 80 kilometers per hour with 95 kilometer per hour winds expected. Yikes. You have to be careful with what you buy at a Chinese shop. The umbrella stand, okay. Kitchen broom, definitely not. How was Ours lasted 1 day before the bristles fell out. It sounds like it's a processionary caterpillar with its bristles falling out, rather than something useful in the kitchen there. Yes, it's a bit of a roulette, isn't it? And bon dia from Mel. Thanks, Mel, for your correspondence. We really will talk soon and get you on the show. Right, let's give him a nice big round of applause and some of this.
Friday, Friday, Friday.
It's a Friday feeling. I'm a feeling Friday. Woohoo! Right. Woo! Oh yes. Look at
Bon
you.
dia.
How you
Bon
doing?
dia, Carl. Yeah, very well. Very well. A bit chilly this morning.
Top of town, are we this morning?
Yeah, at the bottom of town. It got river.
Oh, you're in the bottom. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I thought
River.
that was a distant view.
No,
That's
no,
very
it's
good.
right. I'm right next door to it. And
Not-
just over the road is the Chinese shop.
I know it well. I do know exactly where you mean there. And you're not a
Yeah,
million
right.
miles away from where the public transport's going to be coming in, from the valleys, right?
Absolutely, from Miranda to Corvo and other places down that way. It's all going on here. I mean, they're really getting on with it now. And we walked past the old Coimbra station yesterday, and all the traps are up. People are loading up the old wooden sleepers onto the back of a huge truck, so they can go off and sell them.
Are they? Right.
So it's all going on. It's all going on.
Yes.
I reckon probably finished by the end of the year. By the way the works are looking and the number of people involved. So it's quite exciting. I can see it all. You know how
they've waited long enough.
The thinking. Yeah, sort of 10, 15 years or something, isn't it? So I'm sitting here just watching a cormorant doing its thing, going fishing. So,
the cormorants are back. Yes, someone was telling me they saw a cormorant for the first time in the bay here at San Martino de Porto. So it's definitely cormorant time, another sign of spring perhaps. And being in Coimbra is part of a Portuguese tour for you. Where have you been?
Well, we started off in Setúbal, or however you say it. I've heard about 20 different I've heard about 20 different pronunciations. So we had a week there, some of which was with my cousin and his wife, which was lovely and very, very inebriated. Then we headed up to we headed up to Santarém. We had 4 days in Santarém, which is an interesting town, a proper working town, which I rather like. Oh, so Stoops, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, it's right. It's nice. Not much other than that. There's lots of churches. That was about it, really. And then we headed up to your neck of the woods, and we had a fabulous few days in San Martino, including the party. So, which
I had a flashback.
Really
Ian, I had a flashback this morning from singing Sweet Caroline, when the whole room was singing Sweet Caroline together. And that was only about 9 o'clock in the evening, I think.
I wasn't. I hate that song, but that's another story.
Oh, okay, so you had a different flashback, a traumatic response.
Yeah, traumatic. Right. Yeah. And then driving up here to Coimbra, which I'd never been to. I'd researched a lot. I knew what was here, but actually the actuality of it is better than, looking at videos and reading about it. It's a super place. So, it's a great place to visit for a few days. We're here for another 3 days before we head back to the aeroplane. So this is our last stop.
Oh, okay. So you're just taking it easy.
Wonderful. Yeah, and I think I wouldn't want to be here in the summer because you've got quite a lot of tours coming around this time of year. What it must be like with wall-to-wall coaches full of people that can't walk up the hills. I don't know.
Do you know, I've been to Coimbra quite a few times, and that's something I've never noticed. Maybe it's just been good timing, but I've never felt overcrowded. It feels like a brilliant, bustling European city. When you're walking across that bridge and you see the Mondego River, it could be one of any number of grand European cities, couldn't it?
It could. It has a very European feel. In fact, we went up, I don't know whether you've been to the Mermaid Garden, not the Botanical Garden, the Mermaid Garden.
Oh, yes.
Which is,
okay.
Botanical Garden, which is just up there. There's a mermaid garden, which needs a bit of maintenance, but it's quite sweet. And there's a square in front of it that was just like a million French squares, Italian squares, and the sun was out yesterday. It was a beautiful day, and it really felt like a European city, proper full-on European city. So, and the fact that this is built around the university, and there's only a few cities in Europe that are like that. I can name the two British ones, Cambridge and Oxford, have both built around the city, around the university, which makes them really cool. I guess somewhere like Heidelberg is similar. Actually, because that's sat on the river, isn't it? That's built around a university. So it really felt very, very mainstream European, which was rather lovely. Everybody out having a drink and lots of students milling about. The students in their traditional garb is quite fun. They don't look very happy wearing it, but they are, because that's tradition, I guess.
I think that cool. the cape is pretty good at this time of year, isn't it? Keeps them nice and warm.
It does. Well, it looked pretty warm yesterday because the sun was out. It was, I suppose, air temperature about 18, 19 degrees.
Nice.
In the sun with a black cape on. Oh.
Not ideal. And this is one of your coffee stops yesterday. You can get some great elevation as well, can't you? So it's lovely to be on the river, but it's also great to be up in the old town like this.
Yeah, you get the best of both worlds, really, and that's by the Archaeological Museum, I think, isn't it? And it's built on top of Roman ruins, and you can go and visit the Roman ruins. But I have to say the coffee wasn't great because it took an hour to fix the coffee machine.
Oh,
and they didn't have any pastel de natas or pastéis de natas.
What a disaster! Will you be reporting this to the British ambassador? That sounds like a terrible loss and blow to your plans.
It took a while, but we were sat in the sunshine and just enjoying the view, so it didn't really matter. But it was a bit odd. So, but that's the problem.
So a hit for you then. For Coimbra is definitely
I'd come back for a few days. I don't think I'd want to live here or spend months here. And I don't know why that is. Can't tell you. We both miss São Martinho. We've sort of fallen for it. Just to,
it happens. It does happen.
It happens.
I think
we were sat out on, I can't remember which day it was, one evening. It was dark, lights were twinkling. We were sat out on the balcony, albeit with a blanket over our legs, listening to the waves. And we sat there for an hour doing absolutely nothing. And we just sort of melted. And so
suits me.
We're going to be back, I'm afraid.
No worries. That's brilliant. Absolutely great to see you here, and lovely to welcome people from all over the country and even from outside of the country. From the UK, we're over for that weekend, and it's easy to organise a weekend in São Martinho de Porto because people just get there, breathe out, and have a great time anyway.
Yeah, it's a super place. Think of it. This time of year, February, middle of February, and just sat out on the balcony. It was really cool. Yeah. Really cool.
Superb, right? And Mike's saying one of the reasons we love living near. This. I think you might have hit the nail on the head there. People love Coimbra. Might not want to live right in the city, but great to be nearby. And there are many great places to live nearby Coimbra. And that new transport route is going to be amazing. It's going to be a game changer, I think, when people can live out of town and get the bus in.
I bet the value of property in places like Miranda de Corvo are going to sort of go through the roof.
Yeah,
that may not be a good thing. It'll be good for the local community.
Yes, absolutely. It's a good choice then for Mike and Karen there. I so want to be near Coimbra as well, says Jackie. It's the most amazing place, so relaxed and peaceful, a little bit of heaven on earth. And não gosto. Mr. S, good morning to you. Não gosto do calor úmido. So not a fan. I think not a fan of Bangkok. Is that really the Portuguese translation of Bangkok? Right there. I really like university. I really like university towns. One of the many features I loved about Santa Cruz in California, go Slugs! Yeah, university towns are great, aren't they? And you get the relief of when the students go as well. And you kind of, it's like a seaside town. You get your town back, but you also get the buzz and the cosmopolitan effect of a university being in the town.
Well, it was interesting yesterday because all the students, well, not so much yesterday, day before, the students were out doing this sort of procession where they had the final year students all dressed up in their capes and things, and the freshers, I can't remember what they call them here, the freshers are all dressed up in sort of, they look like schoolboys and girls in sweaters and things. And they were all walking around in parades with them all shouting the odds, and it was quite fun. But the mixture of that and the tourists, it's an interesting vibe. So it's a cool place, very cool.
And you took a tuk-tuk as well, because I think you don't necessarily want to do that in every town you go to, but it seemed like a good idea in Coimbra. How was that?
Well, it was Rebel Mama's suggestion. I wouldn't have done it myself. However, you'd learn a lot more. You get told, we got taken to one or two places that you'd never go to on your own, I don't think, including a beautiful church up near the university, which I didn't even know existed. So it's worth it. It's like these bus tours. You learn a lot, you get your bearings, and after that, you can go and explore yourself. And I think it's a good idea. I still think it's a TikTok tour, not TikTok tour, or the TikTok tuk-tuk tour, if you can get your
absolutely. You need to take all the photos and videos you want there. Have you been across the other side? I think of Coimbra as three places, three sections. There's the other side of town where the Alma shopping centre is in the football ground. So you go up and over the hill to the other side, and
we've been over the other side and walked along the bank there. In fact,
of the river.
Our cars parked over the other side. We walked across the
that's great.
The famous footbridge.
Yes.
So we walked across there. Our cars parked over there because it's free parking. And we walked along there. We did some shopping in the Pingo Doce. Down the road. Oh, it's not. It's an Aldi down the road. So, we explored that a bit. And there's the big monastery up the top, which we haven't been to, but you can see from here. That's probably worth exploring, but I think I'm churched out at the moment.
You could, not that you'll fit in. You could go to the Pequeno model village there on the other side.
Yeah, we passed the entrance to that.
Yeah, and I think it'd be quite uncomfortable for you, quite frankly. But maybe come back with the grandkids for that one.
Lesley be okay.
Epicura, yes, she would, wouldn't she? Love to Lesley. The Epicura breweries on the other side of the water as well. That's worth popping over for a pint across the river there. They're probably open in the evenings and not at lunchtime. Very, very good. I think we might have some Bond. I don't know if you saw the earlier part of the show when Amazon now fully have their hands on the Bond franchise.
I read it yesterday.
Yes. Very interesting. Okay.
The problem is the tech bros have kind of muddied the waters a bit, haven't they? So nobody.
A bit, right? Yes. That's right.
Understatement of the year.
I'm going to be only 5-minute walk from the waves in less than 2 weeks now. We're plotting your course there and your move from Ericeira up to Espinho. We'll find out. We'll get another update on Monday. I love my city, Boston. Oh, that's why Mr. S is so direct with us. It's because he's from Boston, Massachusetts, because it's a college town.
Just on that, we met this lovely couple a couple of nights ago at dinner. And the guy was American and had worked both in the military and in the oil industry. And his wife was Irish, though they both have Irish passports, apparently. And she ran the biggest Irish bar in Boston.
That's going to be big, isn't it? That's going to be big, yeah.
And she said she's got 4 front side properties on the beach somewhere in the States, but they are escaping. They can't put up with it any longer. They're coming
Really?
to Portugal. So they were around
Yeah.
looking for properties. As I put my note to you, I pointed them to rural-properties.com.
Oh yes, Paul. Yeah.
Mr. Reese, because he's got
Yes.
some big properties that they want to do one up. So it was really
Well,
interesting listening to their reasons for coming over, and which are pretty obvious, but that they're clearly not short of a bob or two.
Well, and I wouldn't mind. I have had a Guinness with Bobby O'Reilly in Coimbra. He didn't. He said that has been poured far too fast for it to be any good. I'll let you do that. You can drink that. I mean, and I hadn't had a Guinness for years, so I enjoyed it. I mean, it's all relative, isn't it? But there is a little bit of Guinness action in Coimbra. Perhaps they'll bring an Irish bar to Coimbra there. Lots of pluses, says Joao Ernesto, but they say housing is pricey and summers are too hot for some. Great place to visit, though. That's the vibe we're getting, isn't it? A great place to visit, and we will be with Expats Portugal. We'll talk to Astrid about that and the date that's coming up to be there. So hopefully, a few of us can gather there then. There's a dark side to the capes and the students parading each other around. Humiliation, hazing rituals, apparently, Portugal
hazing,
style.
That's the word. Yeah,
that was the word, isn't it? Yeah, not a good thing. It's interesting how many university students have a uniform, but the school kids don't. Yes, that's interesting. Have you got a cormorant visiting you now? Or is that a seagull?
Just a seagull. There's lots.
You're not eating chips, are you, or a pasta?
No.
Good, okay. You should be safe then.
We're going for a coffee and a natter shortly.
All right.
Hopefully.
Well, we'll keep you for a couple more minutes this evening. We went on the tourist train in Coimbra. It's very shaky. Yeah, I've been on that one, Pam. And when we did our weekend there, 18 months ago maybe, that's what Philomena organised for us. It was really good. There are tuk-tuks and there's a train as well that crosses the bridge and goes around the town. Shows you can point at students. There is so little made of the riverside. Nowhere to just enjoy the river. Is that Coimbra? I think that's going to change, isn't it?
Oh yeah, we walked yesterday. We went for a long walk along this side of the river because there's a park just the other side towards Coimbra B station. And the park runs for probably 3 or 4 miles along the river. We didn't go all the way, but yeah. Sorry, I'll rephrase that.
Well, it was Valentine's weekend.
No, it was.
Yes.
But it's beautiful park and well worth. You lose the city within about 150 meters. You can't hear it because the waters are, it goes over a weir down there, and you get that beautiful water sort of white noise sound, and you can't hear anything else apart from a few birds and the wind in the treetops.
And for a city centre, you can be on a city river beach as well very easily too. You can and you can canoe.
Well, the canoeing is where we got our car park, just over the other side of the footbridge. There are some boathouses, and there were people out kayaking and canoeing yesterday. And they do sailing there, they do rowing there, so it's all that bit's done, but it's not really a river beach in the way that
you have to pop down to Penacova, I think, for some of that. You're not far from some fabulous river beaches.
Well, we're thinking of going to Penacova maybe tomorrow.
You won't regret it. Yeah.
But I want to go the other way as well, out towards Figueira de Foz. There's sort of some interesting towns out there.
Well, you'll have to wait then to come back and take Mel's advice here to go inland to Espinhal, Penella, and Luzão. Definitely go there one of these days on one of your trips. Luzão is just a wonderful place to go to. Great restaurant that
we will.
Again, Filomena took us to. Penella's lovely. Not been to Espinhal there. You can do boat trips as well, apparently, on the river too. We might do that when we go back. So, Coach, thank you so much. We haven't had a chance to talk about your fitness levels since you've been here, but I'm guessing you maybe have been indulging yourself, and when you get back to the UK, we'll get some more fitness videos.
I'm sorry for the lack of videos.
No, not at all. You've been having a great time here, which is lovely to see. That's the main thing.
Well, we did overdo it for the first few days, but I think we're beginning to get back to a balance now.
Wonderful.
We did about 24,000 steps yesterday. So
Did you?
so
Right. Okay.
we're getting it. The stomach is getting back under control a little.
Good man. Right. Fantastic. And thank you so much for being with us today and reporting on your trip. Fair to say you've had a pretty good time on this particular voyage journey to Portugal.
We always do when we're in Portugal.
Yeah.
That's why we're
Yes.
coming back.
Wonderful. All right. I shall
All right.
look forward to seeing you again soon. Love to Lesley and enjoy the rest of your trip. And love to Rebel Mama as well.
Will do. Ciao, ciao.
All right, mate. Okay. Have a great day. Have a great
Bye,
weekend.
mate.
Bon fils.
Bye.
Cheers. Muito obrigado. Right. There goes the coach there. Solar Pete, I was brought up in Richmond upon Thames, where we have a beautiful riverside with lots of great restaurants and bars, but Coimbra has none of that. I think it's beginning, Pete. I stayed at that incredible hotel made of like a Japanese style hotel made of little boxes. And on the rooftop there was the most amazing restaurant and cocktail bar. It's different. I don't think it's ever going to be like Richmond upon Thames. You probably have to go to Richmond for that. But something's definitely happening in Coimbra, and this sort of literally the intersection of the transport there and the current history and how they like to do things in Coimbra. I think in the next 10 or 20 years, it's going to be. I mean, it's great anyway, but it's going to be even more awesome, I think, in Coimbra. And we're going to talk to Astrid in just a moment about the Expats Portugal weekend there. Save the date, 12th of April. Bom Dia Todos from Squire of the Shire. So speaking of Astrid, let's bring her onto the screen. And the first thing we see, Expats Portugal celebrating 20 years in existence, long before all this interest in Portugal just recently.
Amazing, right? Isn't it? Amazing.
Good morning to you. Yeah, it is. It's worth noting.
It's about as long as I've been coming to this beautiful country. So I've been living here now for 14 years. You probably know.
Right.
But,
so you've seen some I didn't know it was that long. Yeah, you've seen some changes there.
14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just like Portugal, the Expats Portugal has changed quite a bit in this last 20 years. I think it started, didn't it, with a few Brits wanting to find out where to buy some of this, for example, some Marmite. It was a forum and a few people asking questions of that kind. They don't ask questions like that anymore. You can get Marmite all over.
It was a forum. Well, it started as a forum. This is before there was social media. So that's how long we're going back now. So before there was Facebook or Instagram or any of those social media platforms, there was the Expats Portugal forum, where it was extremely popular particularly with the British who settled in central Portugal, where they would be able to go on and ask, where can you get some Marmite? Where can you get a left-handed screwdriver? Where can you get all these kind of things, and to be able to share information. And it grew. I think when Jerry and I took over the site, which was 5 years ago now, there was already 6,000 members that had all joined this forum over the years. So when we took over, we had a nice database of people to be able to reach out to and find out a bit more about them and get them active in the forum again. And because we found that a lot of people didn't want to go into social media, they didn't necessarily trust social media, or they didn't like all the advertising and or didn't like sharing all their information. So the forum was a safe place for them to be. But then Trump got into the elections and COVID hit and everything changed, and all of a sudden we were inundated with a lot of Americans wanting to come to Portugal. So the site kind of took on a slightly new direction and a new purpose, and it's grown since there. So now we have a very, very nice mix of people from all over the world, from people who are not here yet, who are planning their journey, to people who are actually already here and want to stay connected with other people. And it's just continued to grow. And I think we've got close to 16,000 members now.
Congratulations, that's great.
And it's all good. It's all good. It's lots of fun. And we've got you and doing our webinars and helping with our YouTube channel. And we have
enjoyed that last night, Astrid. It was great. And that's the bit where I think obviously Expats Portugal is key to a lot of people's plans coming to Portugal. And now there's more on offer for people who actually live here. And we had the most amazing guest last night. She was on the show yesterday morning talking about the webinar that we did last night. Isabel Stillwell talking about Philippa of Lancaster. And people really enjoyed that, didn't they? Finding out more about the history of Portugal. So more of that, please, if you can program more of that in.
Sure, definitely. We, the other thing about learning about the culture and finding out more about Portugal with the history, the webinar, sorry, not the webinars, but the meetups that we're doing, we always want to introduce an element of culture or history into those as well. So, we think it's very, very important for people to understand the bit of the history of their country, and to be able to explore the different cities and different places that you've got, and understand what was this monument for, why is this area so famous, what went on here, and of course we've got Philomena helping us with the tour. She's so knowledgeable about the different areas within the country. So it's important for foreigners, especially when they come here, to be able to know a bit of the history and the culture of the country and be able to embrace that.
And she was with us last night, wasn't she? She came. Philomena came as a participant, not as a part of the audience to hear what Isabel Stillwell had to say, and they were on the screen together for a moment, and it was like, this is fantastic. We've got Philomena helping us with language and culture from that angle once a month, and then we had this lovely historical webinar last night as well. And some of the feedback was people had been to some of these monuments, like the Sintra, for example, or Battaglia, where we were a few weekends ago. And hearing about the lives, the sort of personal lives and stories of the kings and queens made them want to go back, because they could then imagine these characters who they're hearing about last night, or in the historical novels of Isabel. It brought it to life, and people said, I'm going to go back. These places are incredible anyway, but I'm going to go back and imagine these people wandering around in these old monuments and monasteries and so on. So yeah, let's have more of that. And you mentioned there, of course, Philomena giving us she's on the webinars every first Thursday of the month. She led us in a tour around Battaglia a couple of weekends ago. Really enjoyed that weekend. It was really good. And we've been talking about Coimbra this morning, and it just so happens we're heading there, are we not, on the 12th of April. So there you go, a meetup. What's going to be happening here? A similar formula to Battaglia?
Similar but different. We acknowledge that Coimbra is a hilly place. So if you have been there before, you know that if you're going to be doing a tour, you're going to have to go up and down a lot of tours. So Jerry had the idea of hiring a bus. So we have a bus to be able to shuttle us around to different points of exploration. So points of interest in the country, in the city, including the library, which is meant to be absolutely spectacular.
Yeah.
And we'll be going to the botanical gardens and various touch points. It's all actually documented on the events calendar on the site. So if you want more information about the schedule, you can check it out there. So, but yes, you won't have to walk. We have got a bus to be able to pick you up and take you around. And if you want to do a little bit of souvenir shopping, we've got time for that as well. So it's starting with the tour. Then we will meet up for social drinks afterwards, which has been proudly put on by our sponsors for this event, which happens to be Daniel from Reese and Pelicano and the guys from Holborn Assets. They're kindly sponsoring the drinks and nibbles that we'll have. Ooh. And then we will and then we'll have dinner, a buffet dinner at the Hotel de Villa Gale, which looks absolutely spectacular. I did get a copy of the menu of what they're going to serve, and it looks amazing. So a buffet dinner. You can stay on overnight if you want to. At the hotel, we have negotiated a 10% discount off the room rate, which includes breakfast. Yeah. And then, of course, the next day, a lot of us at the Battaglia one, we got together for breakfast, didn't we? Yes. Yeah, which was a lot of fun. So hopefully something similar will happen in April. And then, of course, you can go off and do your own thing. So you can make a weekend of it. You can make a week of it. It's just a matter of what you want to do with booking the accommodation and what you would like to see. So
very good. Big question. Do you think it's going to be warm enough to swim on April the 12th? I think I'm going to bring the costume anyway.
There is an indoor pool as well at the spa, or the wellness centre at the hotel. So you can go and have a bit of a dip indoors. You can have a massage. You can do all that kind of stuff as well. So the hotel does have that. But how nice would it be? Like when we had the meetup in Tamar in the middle of summer last year. I think on the Sunday we had Gilda from EI and Sarah from Spartan and myself, and I had my daughter with me and a few of the other guests, and we all just spent the whole day around the pool because it was like 37 degrees or something crazy like that. So it was just nice.
Morning to you, Antonio F. Bon dia, Antonio, from James as well, especially for you there. That's an impressive milestone, going back to 20 years. And the forum is still going strong, isn't it, has to be said, plus everything else that you're doing now. So for those that know and love the forum from back in the day, you can still probably read your old post, in fact, about where to get Marmite. That's an impressive milestone, says the Squire. And Pam looked at the forum in those days. I bought my first house in Portugal 20 years ago. There was very little on the internet then. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? A time before social media when people were wandering around Portugal trying to buy houses and find the right place to live without all the help that they can get now. Similarly, Diane bought hers in the Algarve 20 years ago, but they're glad not to be there now. Antonio F also saying bon dia to us there, Astrid, to Carl, the Good Morning Portugal show, and Astrid as well there, and he's urging us to hit that like button. So if people want to come to the weekend, do they need to be Expats Portugal members, or are there parts where they can join in? How's that going to work?
Okay, they do need to be premium members of our site. So you can join up as a premium member, and then that will give you access to all the various discounts that we offer, including the accommodation and the complimentary drinks put on by our sponsors and things like that. But we felt that we did want to give back a little bit to our members who are joining us, who have already arrived in Portugal. So this is a bit of a thank you from us to them to continue to support us in what we're doing with the site. So it is a very big effort from Jerry and I to make sure that we do look after our members who are here in Portugal and once they arrive. So the webinar content that we're doing is a little bit different. Like we've got this webinar coming up in March about, if you've got mold problems and humidity problems and issues like that in your house, what it is that you can do to improve those conditions. And there it is with the, Yeah,
let me just bring that up here because I wanted to go through what's coming up on the webinar series as well. So this is going to be an interesting one. That's a familiar site to some people, and we can definitely identify a Portuguese socket there, can't we? And one of the possible pitfalls. So what's this one going to be about?
Well, basically, we have an expert that's coming on board, and he's very knowledgeable about how to, I guess, take a holistic approach in fixing some of these problems. So the Portuguese, well, not just the Portuguese, but many people are very, very key. If you have got a problem, say humidity within your home, and that is a big problem here in Portugal, we would be lying if we tried to cover up the issues.
People do try to cover it up, though. That's the whole point, isn't it? It does get covered up.
Yeah, people paint over it, or they just get a dehumidifier and put one in every room and have it going on constantly. And it's not actually looking at what the problem is and trying to solve the problem. It's just putting a bit of a Band-Aid on a problem and not fixing it where you can. So this expert, another Nuno, will be coming on board and giving people tips on what to look out for if they are either considering buying a new home or buying a property here in Portugal, or if you've already bought a property and you are finding that you've got, it's freezing cold in winter, it's even colder inside than it is outside in the middle of winter, or in summer if it's piping hot and it's just, you can't cool down your house, and things that you can do to actually fix the problem. So for insulation, ventilation, mold control, where you've got dampness in your walls that you need to be able to take, a different approach to solving it, and really giving people an idea on how to fix it rather than just patch it up and think, I think my landlord here at the place that I live, I get black mold on my ceiling, and I call my landlord and I'm like, Frederick, this is really, really bad. It's horrible. And his solution, I'll just open the windows more. But the thing is that Carl, that I live near the ocean. So if I open the windows, it's just letting damp air in. So it's not fixing the problem. That's
right. I think local people have learned to live with it in many ways. Compare and contrast that to Americans who are absolutely horrified.
Yes.
Can you imagine a viewing and there's a corner of a house that looks a bit like that image on the screen? Whereas, if I saw that, I'd be thinking, well, that's a bit of a concern. We know how to deal with that. And, we could come along to the webinar and find out how to deal with it, the source of it, rather than just the symptoms. But for some people, they would just shut the door and run, wouldn't they? From the United States, for example, black mold, I think it is seen as and it is, but I think people from the United States are particularly sensitive about seeing something like that and would run a mile. So that's a possible webinar for you if you are confronted with that, which I think you will be in certain parts of Portugal. And Mel saying, look, I need that very bad in this area. I'd love some natural options. So that's a webinar for you as well. I've learned a lot about managing mold from my family here, mold management. Maybe you can have a little spot on that as well. Open windows during the lowest humidity times of the day, of course. And there is definitely a management issue to it that you won't be familiar with if you're a foreigner and you're coming into Portugal. Brilliant. What else have we got there, Astrid, then coming up? And we do need to help people with, if they do want to join up and they want to be part of these webinars. But if I scroll through here, you will see what's coming up. Back to the Portuguese language and culture with Philomena, of course. Citizenship. That's given that the Expats Portugal is 20 years old. That means that some of the people who've been around for a while on the forum are good candidates for citizenship, right? And that's the webinar on how to do that.
Yes, so it will be where Daniel from Recent Pelicano is on holiday, so it's good to know that he is taking a bit of a break. So this will be with the Pelicano, so Rodolfo Pelicano from Recent Pelicano. So we haven't had him on one of our webinars before, so I'm really, really looking forward to it. He's such a lovely guy. So it'd be great for everyone to get to know him a little bit better. So he's the citizenship expert. So he's going to be letting people know how, when, and what you need to do to accomplish Portuguese citizenship. You've got that terrible language. I shouldn't say terrible, but you do have the language criteria that you need to be.
Yes, A2. Let's call it what it is. Terrifying.
Terrifying. That's probably better than terrible. But of course, you need to be A or up to B proficiency with the language to be able to get citizenship. Unless you're like me that got not a loophole, but because I married a Portuguese guy.
That's another option.
I don't need to do the language exam. So go figure. I don't know why.
Yes. Well, I guess it's assumed your grasp of Portuguese in every sense would be pretty well honed. Now, maybe there's another opportunity for a webinar there, how to marry a Portuguese person. How's the friend and date finder going on Expats Portugal? Because you've got that as well, haven't you?
I'm not too sure because everything is private. We can't see what people are talking about.
Oh, okay, very good.
So,
right.
It's not like we can sort of peek in there and see who's connecting with who. So it's all very private. But
that's good to know for those who might be interested in that. We'll just wait for the invitation to the first Expats Portugal wedding, right? And I'll bring my karaoke machine, and maybe they'll let me DJ at that. Okay, wonderful. Where we lived, we used to live in Colorado. Humidity was an unknown circumstance. Yes, it's hard to imagine, isn't it now, life in Portugal, anywhere else not having such things. 92 was one of the readings on my dehumidifiers yesterday. It's pretty soggy over here at the moment. So find out how to deal with that. And a whole load of other things. Citizenship, we'll be having Philomena back on the first Thursday, a packed program every Thursday night. And if you want to sign up, we can give you a discount as a member of the Good Morning Portugal community. That's the link you need. And we're doing 10% off together, right? We figured that out, Astrid. 10% off membership packages for people who use the code GMP.
Yes, make sure they use the code, your special code GMP, and it will be reduced to 10% during the cart. So if you do want to come to our meetups, use that code to join, and then you can come and join us in Coimbra, and you'll be there, Carl. And
I will be there.
James will
12th
be
of
there,
April.
we'll all be
Really
there.
looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it. And I'll be outside with the Wim Hof types having a dip in the cold pool, I think, not with the lightweight.
Well, it'll be spring by then, so
It'll be
beautiful.
wonderful. It'll be a chance to
Absolutely
scare the horses. Right, fantastic. Great to talk to you. It's 9 o'clock. We've been talking away here, and it's the end of the show. So thanks very much. Have a great weekend. Bon fin de semana. All the best to you, and I shall see you next Thursday. And of course, every Thursday night is the Q&A, the town hall as well, which can be viewed on YouTube. Or if you're a premium member, you can be in on the call as well. Cheers, Astrid. Have a good one. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again next month.
Yes. Okay.
All right. Ciao, ciao. See you. Thanks very much. Bye for now. So non-members, no, on this occasion, they're not. As Astrid said, this is a special in support of the members, the premium members over at Expats Portugal. Nothing to stop you doing a Sunday night gathering and extending the stay there, James, which me and Mrs. M might do, actually. It's a great idea to make a weekend of it, arrive a bit early or stay on a bit later as well. But that's a special for Expats Portugal premium members. Right, I've got a lovely... oh, thank you, Pam, for your picture of the Green Park. That's the part of the river there, the Mondego. That's a lovely picture. And you can still see the university buildings up on the top right there. And there you are down. There you go, Pete. Looking nice and natural on the Mondego River there. And somewhere where you can have a drink, you grumpy bugger. Okay, let's... I want to share something with you. I know it's past 9 o'clock now, but this was really lovely. Saw this on social media yesterday. I love social media. I do. I know it has its problems, but you get a gem from time to time, don't you? I get daily gems and memes and things that make me laugh. On balance, I'm so glad I live in a world of social media. And there was this lovely song, which I'd like to share with you. The young lady, I'll try and find the young lady so you can actually subscribe to her channel. Let me just come back onto the screen there. Where have I gone? Hold on a minute. There you are. Excellent. Right. Beautiful song. And I need to find out who she is so she can get full credit. I might have to wait until the sleeve notes or Monday morning when I'll probably play it again. So yeah, play it again, Sam. I'm going to play it for you now. Enjoy this. Take this with you into the weekend and have a beautiful weekend. Thank you for being here this morning, and we'll see you again on Monday with James and with Bob and Viv. Can we change those times around, James? Is that going to be okay with you? Have a good one. Bom fim de semana. I keep saying muito prazer instead of muito obrigado. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, have a good one. Bye for now.
This is a song to soothe your soul, to soothe your soul. This is a song you need, you know, to soothe your soul. It'll all be alright in the end, 'cause I'm right beside you, your very best friend. And this is a song to soothe your soul, to soothe your soul. This is a song you need, you know, to soothe your soul.
In Portugal, there's a
Now, you know, I talk to a wide range of people who can help you move to Portugal. My advice is to go to as many webinars and to talk to as many people for their first session and see what is a fit for you. That's the important thing, is to find out what works for you and your particular circumstances, because one of the most often heard responses to a question about Portugal will be, it depends. And it often depends on you, and it will depend on the circumstances, and it will depend on if the laws just changed, and it will depend on a whole range of things. So keep up to date, go to as many things as you can, and choose the people, you know, find your tribe, find the people you vibe with, find the people who your intuition says, yes, these are the right people to work with. So just go to as many things and speak to as many people as you possibly can, would be my advice to you. But it depends, of course.
Carol rings the bell.